Now to the work from home economy. Last week's U.S. GDP numbers came in stronger than expected, adding to the challenge from so-called noisy data and asking another big question. Why is consumption still as strong as it is? There is one possible answer: the boost from remote work. Axios' Emily Peck suggests the meaning of the weekend has changed. Yeah, it definitely has. And thanks to the rise of remote work, more professionals are taking trips and they're spending more on experiences. We've got Emily Peck, Axios markets reporter, here with us right now. Emily, great to take some time with you. All right, so if the weekend has changed, like how so? Because I still only get Saturday and Sunday off. I don't know if that's changed for other people.
Yeah, me too. Only Saturday and Sunday off. But what's changed is remote work and hybrid work. We know that most people are still staying home at Fridays and Mondays, and that has changed what they can do on the weekends, right? You don't have to watch the clock all day at the office on Friday and at 5 o'clock race to get on a train or a plane or hop in the car. You can get to your destination Thursday night, work from a hotel room or, your friend's beach house on Friday. And then Sunday, you don't have to scramble back to make it to the office. On Monday, you can stay another night. You can get in late Sunday, work from home Monday. It's just the greater flexibility has allowed a lot of people to travel more, and that means spend more.
And so, Emily, to connect the dots then, how does that feed into GDP?
So it feeds into GDP because what we've seen with the economy right now is that people are still spending money on services, on experiences, less money on goods. That spending hasn't held up as well, but we're seeing that spending on services really has held up. And part of that certainly seems to be this increased spending on restaurants, on hotel, on travel. And part of that is coming from, I believe, and the people I spoke to believe, from this essentially a structural change in how the economy works, if you can believe it. People are able to do more stuff, and that means they can spend more money. I feel like a lot of people point to the Taylor Swift concerts as a really great example. And you can see in the data how a Taylor Swift show coming to a city boosts that city's hotel revenue, for example, because people are able to travel and come in out of town and see a show and make it into a really big experience and spend exponentially more money than perhaps they would have, if this tour had been happening before the pandemic shifted the way we work.
Are people still kind of in concert, just going other places, working virtually, and just saying, you know what, I don't need an apartment in the city anymore. I'll just be a nomad, a digital nomad. Is that kind of still driving some of the spending right now? The digital nomad kind of culture, if you will.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that is happening at the margins, but really the big picture is people are keeping their apartments. They're living where they're living. They're just able to get out more and travel more. I spoke to, one guy who said, I think he went on something like he went to 6 weddings, destination weddings,
Jesus,
in a year. Spent 2 weeks at, lake houses, just did all this stuff. And he said, I never could have done it before. I wouldn't have had the time off to make it to all these places. And Axios has some separate reporting, I believe, out this week on destination weddings becoming more popular. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the past, that's an interesting framing. It allowed him to go to all those weddings. In the past, work was a very convenient excuse to not have to go to all of those weddings. But I guess, different strokes and all of that. I'm like,
digress.
How sustained, though, is this effect going to be? Because we know that an awful lot of companies are now making their employees come back to the office.
That is the question. We know a lot of companies, right, are trying to get people back to the office. And, time will tell. But I think we have seen the resilience of Fridays and Mondays as those stay-at-home days, those flex days. So I suspect that a lot of this is here to stay.